standing here with Andrej Senih from the Policy Working Group. Hi there, how are you?
Good, very good.
And we had this interview with Andrej because the Policy Working Group is having a meeting right now. And it's a very interesting weekend because we have ECAB and we also have a Policy Working Group meeting. What is your meeting about? Because I've been in the ECAB meeting all this time.
It is a very interesting situation. Some people are complaining that we're actually having two meetings in parallel because there are people who would like to be engaged in both in ECAB and in policy working group and are engaged. But it's also interesting because we did it jointly with a training day 2 days ago, which was focusing on health technology assessment. This was something that has come up as a training need of our members in the policy working group sometime in the past, for sure during the last year. But apparently it was felt as a need within different portfolios and working groups and projects of EATG. So we did this jointly as Policy Working Group, ECAB and the training group. The Policy Working Group meeting this time was very much in line as a continuation to the training provided a basis for our discussions to a large extent, but it was a process that had started last year during the last two Policy Working Group meetings, where we have been focusing quite a lot on issues of affordability. Mm-hmm. Of course, I need to stress that the only reason why EATG would be talking about affordability of medicines is because EATG is about access to medicines and medical devices and health technologies and diagnostics and everything, prevention tools as well. So a large portion of our meeting was devoted to this discussion. And another thing that was a bit different than usual policy working group meetings was that we did engage directly with partner NGOs during the first day. So there was a very interesting round table. We had invited civil society organizations focusing on access to medicines, mm-hmm. but taking maybe somewhat different approaches than EATG has, because EATG is, after all, a patient-based organization, whereas civil society organizations in general might have a different, more public health-driven approach. We also had, as guests giving presentations, the director of the Belgian Health Technology Assessment Agency, and Mr. Raf Mertens, and also a representative from DigiSante, from the European Commission, Ms. Ioana Siska, and they were all focusing on the HTA processes at the European level, different initiatives, collaboration between EU countries, where we are with this, what should we expect from a greater collaboration in HTA at the EU level. And I need to add, because these discussions did seem quite a lot focused on EU processes, we did acknowledge that we, as EATG, as WHO Europe EATG, because this is our remit, have interest in these new developments in terms of health technology assessment, in terms of processes relevant for access to medicines. We did acknowledge that these things at the European EU level are potentially very relevant to how things in the future will be in WHO Europe. As a tentative conclusion, it's not something that we managed to have a clear position about, but if we have improved health technology assessment and the joint engagement at the EU level, we do expect that this will have a positive implication on neighboring countries. In terms of transfer of knowledge and expertise, improving processes at the national level, providing more evidence-based decision-making about reimbursement on new medicines.
Now, this sounds tremendously exciting, but it's also a very complex area. So how do you think that we can bring this to a level where the members, and not just the EATG members, but also other patient organizations and other activists who work in the field can understand what the importance of HTA is and why patient involvement in HTA is paramount?
Yes, that's a challenging question. I think we can conclude that we have, despite the training that we had 2 days ago, we still have more and more training needs as an organization, as members, as activists in this field, and I think we should continue. But in parallel, we don't exist just to train ourselves in whatever. In parallel, we need to strategize and position ourselves as EATG, as activists, as opposed to against these global processes and global developments that are going on regarding access to medicine. So one way that we are trying to ensure more involvement into this from members is through the we are now, as a policy working group, as EATG basically, we are into revising our positions on access and innovation. We also discussed this during our meeting yesterday, so there will be we did plan a participatory process which will ensure both knowledge building and involvement from the membership.
Now, with this, you also, to some extent, answered my follow-up question. What else did you talk about during the policy working group meeting? And I will let you speak about this. But I just want to recommend to you that if you want to know more about health technology assessment, then check out the EATG website, where there's a detailed description of how health technology assessment works and how patient involvement in health technology assessment is feasible. So what else did you talk about during the policy working group meeting?
So yes, apart from access to medicine specific issues, we did use this meeting to consolidate our work as policy working group, as EATG, policy work of the EATG, in all the things we do, the different projects and portfolios which have policy aspect to them, as well as the various processes at the international level where we are engaged as EATG. So this discussion is ongoing. It started yesterday afternoon, it's ongoing now. Ideally, we are aiming at achieving some prioritization approach by also measuring our capacities to be involved in different things. And we are also discussing how to strengthen our link as EATG in the work we do with the different communities that we represent.
So I know that I will have to let you go because the meeting is starting again, but what's the key takeaway in your view? What's the bottom line? Where are we going in terms of policy in HIV, hepatitis C, tuberculosis in Europe?
I think access to new health technologies is one thing that we need to continue to focus on. Something that came up from our yesterday's discussion, including partners, was that there is a space of couple of years people are envisaging where we can make important changes, improvements into how we get access to medicines as patients, as civil society. So that's one thing. Another take-home message, well, not message, but like an outcome of this meeting that I, as chair, am hoping to take away with me for the future work is this prioritization that I mentioned. We are trying to map well what are the fora where we can make most influence in, and for which we have enough capacities. So these two things I would stress. Of course, we did discuss in more detail about different portfolios, projects, targeting migrants, targeting women, prevention in general, but these are the two things that I would stress.
Thank you, Andrej. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tamas.